Welcome. My headphone died, so I'm using this mic. February 2024. Blindfold Chess, Game 4 with my lovely wife, playing black. I am playing white. I start off with knight f3. She plays d6, d4, e6, e4, knight e7, bishop c4, knight d7, kingside castle, knight b6, bishop b3, knight g6, knight c3, d5, e4, bishop d7, h4, h5, bishop g5, bishop e7, bishop takes e7, queen takes e7, knight g5, knight c4, bishop takes c4, d takes c4, queen takes h5, rook takes h5, knight e2, knight takes h4, white resigns. Black is victorious. So, let's review this game. Starting off with knight f3, I go with a pretty easy setup where I know she likes to play with short pawn movements for the center. I get my big center, devote my bishop and castle. This bishop to b3 I think would have been better if I moved it back to e2, but I think it's fine to control the light squares in this area and to hit the center. With her knight coming out, she opens some lines on the dark squares, and when I move my knight here, I think this is a mistake. I think I should have developed my knight to d2 from b1 and then eventually push my c pawn. But she plays this transposition kind of line to make it into a French, and I decided to close it. Now I recognize my bishop on b3 is pretty weak, so I should remaneuver it or make it useful in another case. She plays bishop d7. That way I can't play my bishop to a4 to make it more useful. And with this pawn push, this was a mistake I overlooked. I forgot that I had castled, and my rook was not on h1 anymore. So my rook and knight are not protecting the pawn, so she has two attackers she could have taken, but did not take. So then I develop my piece, develops trades. Knight comes to a strong square supported by the e5 protecting the f6 area, so I'm not too worried about her pushing her pawn. And when I saw this knight movement in my head, I was thinking, it's attacking an isolated pawn. I don't want to defend the pawn because I'll probably lose track of the piece, or maybe I'll have a perception blunder and not know where my knight or where my queen is going to go. So I'm just going to get rid of it, and thus removing the weak bishop that I had. And doubled pawns, and I have an idea of pushing on d5. But instead I decided to take on h5. It was a perception error. I was calculating some lines where she has castled kingside, and as I was seeing that she's castled kingside in the future, it made sense to step an attack towards that area, and I completely misread the time to do that. So I knew where all the pieces were. I did a board accountability, checked through all the pieces, and then as I started calculating, I just forgot to take my time. And then when she takes, I move, she takes, I resign, and she wins. So good day for her. She's pretty happy. This is our first loss against the wife, so hopefully next month I'll be able to do better. But that was for this month. Super happy with how she did, and glad she's improving, and glad I have a challenge to get better now. Alright, thank you for watching. Enjoy. See you next month.